Do you want to know what happens when a 62-year-old man runs faster than your food delivery guy and jumps out of planes as if he were just going out to buy bread? Well, then Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, or at least that's what they say, because as far as we know, if the movie makes money, this final chapter will last about as long as the politicians promise. And look, if you thought Dead Reckoning, the previous movie, was already over the top, just wait until you see what he pulls off in this one. Spoiler, there are scenes where even he didn't know if he'd make it out alive. Before we go on, let me make that request everyone ignores. You know, the one that forces me to beg for subscriptions and likes as if I were negotiating with a Russian villain? If you don't subscribe and like right now, I'll ask Tom Cruise to come to your house, climb your wall, and hang from your Wi-Fi. And you know he does that without a stunt double. True or not? I'll give you 3 seconds. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your like. Let's go. Tom Cruise comes running back as if retirement were a fictional concept. Behind the epic action scenes and insane stunts, there's a much more sinister danger. An artificial intelligence called the Entity, capable of manipulating reality with deepfakes and disinformation. The question remains whether the new Mission Impossible intends to warn us about a real future, or if it's just a 3-hour spectacle tailor-made to go viral on social media. And why does the main villain, supposedly responsible for shaping Ethan Hunt's past, seem so forgettable? Hold on, I'll talk more about that in a bit. The plot unfolds shortly after the previous film. The Entity, the artificial intelligence that can even deepfake a dog, operates from the shadows. The goal is to prevent it from unleashing a digital apocalypse. This plot is reminiscent of the game Metal Gear Solid mixed with the movie Terminator with a Skynet flavored by digital paranoia. What's most curious is how something that seemed like fiction just 2 years ago now resembles a CNN news report. Today, in fact, I was watching Google's event, and yesterday I was watching the launch event for a new product from OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. So this storyline is becoming more and more plausible. The movie was originally called Reckoning, Part 2, but the title was changed to reinforce the studio's stance and to offer a definitive conclusion, even though the action continues directly from the previous story. Although it's being promoted as the final chapter of the franchise, it all comes down to box office performance. The example of John Wick 5 shows that in Hollywood, endings are never really the end. So the question remains, is this really Tom Hunt's farewell? I believe it will only be if Tom Cruise dies in the middle of during filming, God forbid, right? But comment below if you think this is the final movie. Anyone planning to watch without having seen the previous installment should get their mind ready. Although it gives that basic recap at the beginning, viewers might be surprised by Haley Atwell's appearance with no context at all. It's worth rewatching the earlier films to catch all the references, since there are moments that seem improvised. The script highlights that the story takes place a few months after the events of the previous part, and that the Entity becomes even more significant, manipulating public perception through social networks and deepfakes. It almost turned into a commentary on our current reality. As for the action scenes, there's a sequence on a plane that feels like it came straight out of a Peter Pan musical. Pure tension. In another moment, inside a claustrophobic submarine, the action is so intense it could be an entire movie on its own. Zero dialogue, just desperation and adrenaline. The editing intersperses fights in different locations, like a ballet rehearsal, connecting blows between different scenes with surprising fluidity. However, there comes a point when so many acrobatics become exhausting. The visual spectacle grows, but the narrative falls asleep backstage. Not everything is lost. There's a sequence where the team splits up across various points on the globe, and the fight cuts are so synchronized they feel like choreography. A punch in Berlin connects with a fall in Tokyo. This editing deserves a standing ovation. A sharp criticism falls on the runtime. Almost 3 hours of film, totaling nearly 6 hours when both parts are combined. Considered excessive for a story with unlimited depth, reinforcing the perception that a summer blockbuster should not last so long, especially when it aims only at entertainment and action. The video also compares the franchise's trajectory, which began as an American James Bond, to formats that now sit somewhere between Seven and Fast Furious. Do you agree with that? Leave your comment below. The excess of chases, stunts, and nostalgia shows the adoption of memes and exaggeration, sometimes at the expense of a solid script. In my opinion, despite the guaranteed fun from the action and suspense scenes, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning doesn't feel like a worthy conclusion. My recommendation is to wait for the streaming release if you're not a big fan of the franchise, rather than paying for a ticket now, which isn't exactly cheap. Keep in mind that you always go with someone, there's parking, you end up eating, and if you're with your family, there's popcorn, maybe some McDonald's, so it gets really expensive compared to the 20 reais for streaming. Now, if you want the big screen, IMAX, special effects, and sound, then maybe it's worth it. As for me, since I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, I definitely enjoyed the 3-hour sit went by quickly. But I understand that the final feeling is kind of like leaving a barbecue and getting caught up in a long chat at the gate. In other words, you just can't seem to leave, right? For many people, Ghost Protocol still offers the ideal balance. Now I want to hear from you. Did you watch this movie? Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Did you only watch the first part? Are you excited for the second part? Leave a comment below. Also, do you prefer the Mission Impossible style or 7? Also, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button, or Tom Cruise might break into your house, hang from the ceiling, knock over your TV consoles, and take down your internet. Go ahead, don't doubt it. That's it. I'll see you in the next review. See you soon.